Welcome to the Daybreak with Jeff Slakey podcast. I'm so happy you found us. Please subscribe, rate, review, and share this with your circle of influence. It's a collection of the interviews, news, and conversation during Daybreak with Jeff Slakey on I-Fiber One News Radio, KMAS, weekdays from 6 to 9. Well, good morning, everybody. The Daybreak Show here on November 11th, the 11th day of the 11th month. It's Veterans Day. Good morning, Spencer. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Happy Veterans Day to all the vets.
Coming up today on the show, this first half hour, we're going to have our local newscast coming up in just a second, and then also a conversation with the Shelton Centennial Lions. Second half of the show, we'll do a little bit of history on Veterans Day. Also, throughout the morning, we're accepting and have accepted a couple of phone calls into the I-Fiber One comment line with Veterans Day messages. If you'd like to share yours and try to get that on the air, you can still call in at 360-426-1030 and press 0. Because today is Veterans Day, Shelton City offices will be closed today. Mason and Thurston County government offices closed as well. And for the City of Olympia, all offices, including City Hall, the Muni Court, and Probation Services, and the Olympia Center as well, will be closed today. But those are governmental agencies. We've found a list of businesses that offer specials to veterans today. Great Clips, free haircut today for veterans and active duty, or pick up a free haircut card. Also, non-veterans who get a haircut today will get a free haircut card to give to a veteran.
Great
now,
idea.
Of course, these may not all be applicable to every location, but it's something to check in about. Applebee's free meal from a special menu. Offers could vary. What else is on this list?
We got Buffalo Wild Wings, some great wings from them. Free order of 10 boneless wings and fries. We have Denny's free build your own Grand Slam. That's from this morning to noon. From noon. So this morning till noon, you can get a free build your own Grand Slam at Denny's, participating Denny's.
That's a good one, yeah.
Sure. And
Little Caesars free lunch combo.
Pizza.
Yeah, that's a good one. Pizza. Menchie's frozen yogurt. First 6 ounces of frozen yogurt free to veterans. There's one of those on the west side. Starbucks free tall hot brewed coffee for veterans, active service members, and their spouses today.
And one can always Google their local area. This show is heard all over the place, and thanks to the internet, really all over the world, right? So people can Google around the country, different places or around the different counties, local businesses, and sometimes smaller chains, that might be in Thurston County or might be in another neighboring county for discounts and freebies today.
Mason County Public Health notified of 10 additional Mason County residents testing positive for COVID-19, bringing the total now to 632 cases. There have been 68 cases reported in the last 14 days, and the rate per 100,000 new cases during the prior 2 weeks now sits at 105 out of 100,000.
And health officials in the state are warning of a continued spike in coronavirus cases across the state and are pleading with the public to take the pandemic more seriously. And if the trajectory, this is something we all need to be concerned with because it affects everything we do. If the trajectory of cases does not decrease, they warn additional restrictions could result. State Health Officer Kathy Laffey said that cases have been steadily increasing since September, but that the most dramatic increases have occurred over the past 2 weeks. And she says the cases are rising among all age groups, indicating the transmission is widespread. The state set a daily record for new coronavirus cases on Saturday, with 1,777 new cases announced.
Listen, I'm not trying to be an alarmist here, but I am seeing these trends, and now that the election is past us, the state election at least, I do not have blinders on that we may be seeing some sort of lockdown, modified or other. These numbers are just getting out of control, and it's not like people are saying, yes, let's lock everything down again and let's watch these businesses wither away. All we got to do is we can continue with our daily lives, but if you're near somebody, go get away from them. Or if you're near a place, put your mask on.
Yeah.
Those two things can really go a long way. I was listening to Governor Inslee's report yesterday, and there are certain parts of the state that are more pro-mask than anti-mask. And a few weeks ago, I think in Yakima County, they were at a 35% compliance rate. Not very good. But in the last 3 weeks, Governor said in his press conference that they've gotten it up to 95% compliance in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Because community leaders, business leaders, other local leaders have put the mask on. They've done what they need to do to show the rest of the public in that community that this is a big deal. Am I just being crazy here, or are you seeing that this could happen again very soon?
Oh, no. I'm very worried about it, especially in my other industry that I do after the radio show. We were shut down for months. I didn't get an unemployment check for 7 weeks. I mean, the thought of going back to that again and having to fill out these forms. And I don't know. I'm not trying to say I have lack of faith in the state employees working hard at this, but I don't know how much was learned from the last time around. I don't know if the unemployment, employment department, things like that, are any more prepared now than they were before. Maybe they thought, okay, we're in the clear and we don't have to deal with this anymore. But what if there's another rush of 1 million people applying for unemployment starting tomorrow? I mean, I'm certainly not an alarmist. You know me, I'm an optimist to the core. But it's kind of that thing where if we don't behave, we're going to... California, my kids flew back to California. They were here for Thanksgiving week, or early Thanksgiving. 11 counties went backwards yesterday. In Sacramento and in San Francisco counties, I believe, and in the Bay Area, no more indoor restaurants, no more movie theaters, no more indoor church, no more health clubs. No more, I mean, it's going backwards already. And Governor Inslee looks very carefully at California, I think, for worse sometimes than better. But if he's modeling it after that, we may see counties here doing the same thing in the next several weeks. And I'm not being an alarmist. I'm just being a realist.
Well, Spencer, you bring up the point, what if tomorrow 1 million people have to go back on the unemployment rolls? Okay, great. That's going to tax the system. My question is the money even there? Who cares about getting through and entering your application?
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure that the money's even there. So please, for the sake of your mom and pop business down the street, it's not about you. It's about all of us right now. I'm sorry that we don't usually do this, but these cases are just getting out of control, and we're going to go back. I feel it.
Yeah, I hope not, but with the trends going the way they're going and knowing how government responds to such trends, it doesn't, it's not a long shot prediction that we would. I mean, everything is pointing in that direction. Unfortunately, it can be reversed. It's most of this is in our control, right? I mean, just like speeding and driving without a seatbelt and doing goofy things, it's all in our control. We can do things as precautions, or we could choose not to. It's all up to us.
Moving on in the newscast here today, as we look to the sports report, the other thing is we've got Cougar football. The SEC, they've canceled 3 games this weekend because of COVID outbreaks. Haven't heard anything about the Pac-12. So far, everything is okay after last week's initial game. But, there's a lot of things happening right now, and people are getting closer and closer to just saying, well, we're going to just have to do with what we're going to have to do with, I guess. So this upcoming weekend, Washington State plays Oregon. We've got it here on the radio for you. Additionally, the next day, Sunday, Seahawks play the LA Rams with a pregame at 11 and a kick at 1:25. Seahawks are presented by Shelton Health and Rehab, Riviera's Shellfish, South Sound Appliance, Dogtown Grooming, Neil's Pharmacy, and the Shelton Athletic Club. And again, we don't normally go off the rails like we did, and we are an information show. But there are certain days that hearing all these reports and the numbers and looking at the trend lines, that's all I'm looking at, the trend lines. And they're all going up rapidly. We are a week and a half away. We're a week and a half back from Thanksgiving, Halloween. So we're going to start seeing numbers if people were gathering there, and 2 weeks from now it's going to be Thanksgiving, and then 2 weeks from now we're going to start to see the numbers from Christmas. I mean,
we're just concerned. I mean, we're concerned citizens, just like everybody else. We're all in this together, right? I mean, and I don't see this really as getting on our high horses. This is just realistic. I thought a month ago we were going in the other direction. I thought by Christmas we'd all have our masks off or close to it going into the new year.
Sure.
And I mean, I think a lot of us were optimistic. The businesses were coming back. Mom and pops were thriving again. You could go inside of a restaurant. You could go see a movie in some places. And that's not lasting. It's not holding.
And it's not going. I think the compliance of going into the businesses and getting out of your car and you've got your mask and you go to the store and then you get back in your car and you take your mask off. The compliance in the stores is up. And almost near universal. It's after that. It's the gatherings where my nuclear family interacts with my immediate family, and we may not feel comfortable wearing masks or saying, hey, Uncle Bobby, put a mask on, Yeah. And so it doesn't happen. And that's where I believe all of these increases are. It's these gatherings. Yeah. And there's still small gatherings. But when you start bringing in people from other circles, you just don't know where they've been. And
this is, I promise folks, I don't have a political bone in my body or skin in the game either way. I think Trump, the president, and the president-elect, it appears, Joe Biden, need to tell people, look, we're glad you're happy, we're glad you're this, whatever. Please stop sharing champagne bottles in the middle of the street. Stop hugging and kissing in the middle of the street. That. And I think Biden has an obligation to do that, to tell his people celebrating for his victory and Kamala's victory, thanks for celebrating, but we can't have 10,000 of you sharing champagne glasses in the middle of the streets. Yeah. And I think President,
a lot of that.
Yeah, President Trump too. He's got people who are ticked off gathering in places, who are protesting. A lot of them without masks to begin with. A lot, not all. But he ought to say, look, we're going to take care of this, whatever way we're going to take care of it. But please mask up. Please don't gather in large numbers like that. I think both sides are responsible to come out and say that.
They really are. And that kind of goes back to the Yakima County conversation. To go from a 35% to a 95% compliance, it takes the leadership. It takes an adult to get in front of a microphone with a mask on and say, we are all in this together. Whether or not you voted for me, you didn't vote for me. I don't want you to get sick.
No, absolutely.
Well, coming up again today on the show, this first half of the hour, conversation with the Shelton Centennial Lions. And then the second half of the hour, a little bit of history on Veterans Day. It's all coming up here on this Veterans Day. And good morning to you.
From the iFiber One News Radio studios, you're listening to Daybreak.
It's the Daybreak Show, and today is Veterans Day. We got this special message on our iFiber One comment line.
Hi, this is Helen Thompson. I'd like to thank all veterans for their service to our country. I'd like to give a special shout-out to Sergeant Major Dan Hernandez and Lieutenant Commander Darrell Hood, the Navy Junior ROTC instructors at Shelton High School, for their work that they do with students, and to the men and women of the VFW and American Legion for their support to this program. Thank you.
Thanks, Helen, for that. If you would like to leave a dedication to a veteran or just thank them in general, there's still time. Call the listener comment line right now, 360-426-1030, then press 0. Happy Veterans Day from Daybreak and iFiber One.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFiber One News Radio.
Happy Veterans Day from iFiber One and Daybreak. We got this voicemail on our listener comment line.
Hey, everybody. Happy Veterans Day. This is Troy Jasmine. Big shout out to my father, who has over 36 years in the military. He was Army, Navy, Marine Corps, and Army Reserve. So he spent a lot of time in the military. Anyways, a happy Veterans Day to all of those that have served and those that are still serving today. Thank you and have a wonderful day.
Thanks, Troy, for that message. There's still time if you'd like to leave a message on our listener comment line. Call 360-426-1030, then press 0, and leave a quick thanks for a veteran or veterans at large. Happy Veterans Day from iFiber One.
From the iFiber One News Radio studios, you're listening to Daybreak.
Good morning, everybody. Jeff Slakey and Spencer Hughes here on the Daybreak Show. I've got more great guests from the Shelton Centennial Lions Club on the air with me. Kathleen McDowell continues our conversations, and this time we welcome in Bill Scholl. How you doing, Bill? Hi, Kathy.
Hi.
Hi.
We have had a good conversation last week or the week before about the Shelton Centennial Lions Club doing some good work for the YMCA, and now we're today talking about something, Kathy, I think all of us can get behind, and it's kicking 2020 to the curb. I think we are just about done with this year. It has been, it's been a rough one.
Well, I'm going to let Bill tell a little bit about that.
Okay, go ahead, Bill.
That's
Okay.
his, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, we, as I went along talking with people, the more it became evident, I agree with you that people are tired of 2020. Let's get going. And so the original idea was to have a goodbye 2020 party. And then somebody come up and said, hey, let's kick 2020 to the curb party. So that's where we're headed at.
I like that. And I think everybody can get behind this one. So what are some of the things that you guys are going to do as the Lions Club?
At the party, we're New Year's Eve, of course. One thing that we're going to do is start at 8 o'clock. That's 11 o'clock Eastern time. But we're going to go for an hour where we have some drawings for door prizes. Right, one of the door prizes is an overnight stay at the McMenamins Olympic Club, downtown Centralia.
Nice.
It's dinner, a room, a dinner, a bottle of wine, movie, pool, and then breakfast the next morning. So it's a $250 drawing prize. So we're excited about that one. And we'll have a couple more drawings, but what we're gathering is some local musical talent. Rocky Holbrook has agreed to do some old time rock and roll music. So it's going to be a real fun evening.
That's great.
Bill, remember, it's going to all be on Zoom.
It is going to be on Zoom. And we're advertising through Facebook and email, our website. Everything is done digitally.
Wow. And that's kind of how, Kathy, as we talked last time, that's how the club has been doing. For the most part, they've been gathering, although at times you're able to get together in person, but for the most part, digitally here. And that sounds like a fun event. So what do folks need to do? We're a little out here before the time, but mark it on the calendar for sure. And what are some other ways that we can participate?
They can go to browntickets.com or the Shelton Centennial Facebook page, and it has a link there where people can go directly. And the tickets are $10, and we have T-shirts. I'm gonna stand up. So
there it is. You got it too, Kat. Yeah.
I'm backwards.
Oh, it's backward. Well, it is. If I turn backwards, then you can't see it.
Hey, Bill.
Go ahead, Kathy.
Bill, there's another thing. We're going to be getting ordering these with just Let's Kick 2020 to the curb. And we're going to be selling them locally. The Ish shop is going to have them.
Okay.
Get hold of me on Facebook, wherever. And if you want a T-shirt, we'll meet you where you want us to meet, and you can get your T-shirt. So.
Well, the Shelton Centennial Lions Club is a great organization that does a lot in the community and doing their best to reach out in these uncertain times. And I think everybody is excited to, in a few months' time here, kick 2020 to the curb. We'll put the links to the Lions Club Facebook page in this as well as a big thanks to Peninsula Credit Union for offering time up for nonprofits like the Shelton Centennial Lions Club to come on and talk about what they have to offer, as we've got Bill Scholl and Kathy McDowell here on the air. And that's exciting. That's fun. You got to do something. You got to change it up a little bit with how all that's going on.
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah.
Can I talk about the swags we're selling?
Sure.
Okay, so last year we did swags. We sold them for, I believe, $12 each. We put them together ourselves, which was a huge job. So this year we're partnering with Hiawatha. We're going to purchase the swags from them. Then we're going to take them and we're going to put a big bow on them and our Lions Club wood logo that's going to go on it. And I'm not positive the price right now. I think $12 is what we're doing. But those orders will start pretty soon and they'll be delivered December 1st-ish, right in there. Businesses, private, people can order them and we'll get them to them. So it's another good fundraiser, and that money will probably go into the YMCA fund.
Very cool. Bill, Kathy, good to talk with you. Good to see you again, and stay safe, be well out there, and it'll be 2021, hopefully, before we know it. Fingers crossed, right?
Yeah, right.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
iFiber One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
Again, good morning to you here on the Daybreak Show. Jeff and Spencer on Veterans Day, November 11th. Good morning, Spencer.
Hey, good morning to you.
Going to take this time this will kind of be a long segment where you and I go back and forth on talking about the history of Veterans Day. In 1921, an unknown World War I American soldier was buried in Arlington National. This site on a hillside overlooking the Potomac in the city of Washington, D.C. became the focal point of reverence for Americans' veterans. Similar ceremonies also did occur in England and France, where unknown soldiers were buried at the nation's highest place of honor. So Westminster Abbey in England, the Arc de Triomphe in France. These memorial gestures all took place on November 11th, and that gave that universal recognition to celebrating the end of World War I. Fighting at 11 a.m., November 11th, the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, Armistice Day.
That's right, and it officially received its name in America in the late 20s, mid-20s, 1926, through a congressional resolution. It became a national holiday 12 years later by similar congressional action. And if the idealistic hope had been realized that World War I was the war to end all wars, as it was called, we might still be calling it Armistice Day. But of course, we know it wasn't the war to end all wars. There have been many since then, and only a few years after that the holiday was proclaimed, war broke out in Europe. 16.5 million Americans took part. 407,000 of them died in service, more than 292,000 in battle. And Armistice Day changed to honor all veterans.
And the first celebration using the term Veterans Day proper occurred in Birmingham, Alabama in 1947. So Raymond Weeks was a World War II veteran. He organized National Veterans Day. There was a parade and festivities. The event was held on the 11th, then designated Armistice Day. Later, a U.S. representative named Edward Reese of Kansas proposed a bill that would change Armistice Day to Veterans Day. And in 1954, Congress passed a bill that President Eisenhower signed, proclaiming November 11th as Veterans Day.
On Memorial Day, 1958, two more unidentified American war dead were brought from overseas and interred in the plaza beside the unknown soldier of World War I. One was killed in World War II, the other in the Korean War. In 1984, an unknown serviceman from the Vietnam War was placed alongside the others. The remains from Vietnam were exhumed May 14, 1998, identified as Air Force First Lieutenant Michael Joseph Blassie, and removed for burial. To honor these men, symbolic of all Americans who gave their lives in all wars, an Army Honor Guard, the 3rd U.S. Infantry, the Old Guard, keeps day and night vigil.
And of course, the focal point for official national ceremonies for Veterans Day is at the Tomb of the Unknowns at 11 a.m. on November 11th Eastern Standard Time. A combined color guard representing all military services executes the present arms at the tomb. The nation's tribute to its war dead is symbolized by the laying of a presidential wreath. The bugler then plays taps, and the rest of the ceremony then takes place in an amphitheater.
And one thing that they did that was kind of controversial was they tried to do this 3-day weekend thing. So it was changed from its official date years later to the fourth Monday in October. And that kind of confused things. And people really wanted to go back to the significance of that 11th day of November. So that was changed in 1978. Congress returned to that observance on its traditional date.
Oh, wow. Huh. That's interesting. But yeah. I can see where November 11th would hold a special day in the hearts of folks. Now, of course, there are things happening across the country. Make sure you check with your local organizations because of COVID. There may be increased protections. They may not be doing the same traditional things that they have over years gone by. If you do go and honor veterans on this day, make sure that you are practicing all COVID precautions. 6 feet of distancing, masking up, and things like that. But it is Veterans Day today, and we'll continue to check in on phone messages from folks who called in yesterday to honor those veterans, and we thank everybody that took the time out of their day to call our listener line. More Daybreak Show is coming up. Thank you so much for listening to today's Daybreak with Jeff Slakey podcast. Again, I'm so happy and honored you found us and chose to listen. Please subscribe, rate, review, and share this with your circle of influence. It's a collection of some of the interviews, news, and conversation during Daybreak with Jeff Slakey on iFiber One News Radio KMAS, weekdays from 6 to 9. Thank you so much again, and talk with you next time.